Okay, good morning, guys. Welcome back. So this is our sixth or seventh demo session. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ninth one. Yeah. So ninth demo session, guys. So these are the concepts that we completed till now, and already like 15 people confirmed the joining, but still somehow some people are not joining daily. Guys, so you need to join live training. Okay, so just going through the recording sessions will not be helpful to you. Okay, so don't just think that anyways you are getting recording sessions, like you can skip the live training. So then there is no point of joining the live training, right? So if you want only recorded sessions, I can share you the previous batch recording sessions. Got it, guys? So Bilutej and a few people I observed that they are not joining regularly. Yeah. So I think like you these sessions, these two sessions, right?
Our live session in the sense of the same timing, right? Or any other timings you are taking? Only this time only, no?
So only this time, last week we had from 9 to 10. So 9
Okay.
was the regular timings. Today I have some hospital appointment. That's why I asked you to join early, bit early. So today I'm going to cover performance testing life cycle. Okay, very important interview question. Let me open the class notes also. Very important interview question, and it will be one of the first 5 to 10 interview questions. If you are attending any performance testing interview, this would be one of the first 5 to 10 interview questions. First 5 to 10, right? So can you explain performance testing life cycle? So this would be the interview question. Can you explain performance testing? Okay. Now, so I'm going to discuss that today. We are going to discuss that today, performance testing life cycle. So suppose if a client want to do performance testing for their application, some client want to do XYZ client want to do performance testing for their application, or else let's say Big Basket want to do performance testing for their web application. All right. Let's say Big Basket want to do, I mean, the client, I think it is owned by Tata now, right? So yeah, so Big Basket was acquired by Tata Group. So this Tata Group want to do performance testing for their application, bigbasket.com, right? Now, so they have to engage some testing company, right? Or they have to give this project to some service-based company, let's say. Okay. Or else, they have TCS, let's say, for example. Or, let's say they are, they want to do performance testing for their application. Now, before choosing or before, so first of all, they would, they will float something called RFI. They will float something called RFI. So where RFI stands for, of course, here in this case, this is owned by Big Basket is owned by Tata, right? They may go for TCS only. I'll take some other example, guys. Let's say IRCTC want to do performance testing for their application, right? So, they have to choose some vendor, right, for doing the testing services. Now, what they do is they'll float something called RFI, where RFI stands for request for information. All right. Request for information. So that means they'll float a document in the market, or they'll, I'll show you some sample RFI. Yeah. There is one sample RFI with me, guys. So this is for a client called UBC. Where UBC stands for University of British Columbia. So if you see here, UBC stands for University of British Columbia, right? So now let's say, this client wanted to do performance testing some time back. And what they did is, they have floated something called this RFI. So what does an RFI contain is, it contains some standard set of questions like this. So what portion of your business is dedicated to performance testing, right? How many full-time, part-time contract performance testing staff members are there at your company? So these are some, these are some questions that they throw out in the RFI document. Now, what, like service-based companies who are looking for some business, right? They will respond to the RFI like this. So these are the questions asked in the RFI document by the client, and these are the responses shared by the service-based companies, guys. Okay. So I kept a placeholder here. I worked on this RFI when I was working for the, one of the service-based company in my career, right? Now, whatever service-based companies are looking for, for acquiring some projects, getting some project, right? They will be responding to this RFI. Their sales team will be responding to this RFI. Okay. Now, let us understand, what are the questions there. So what portion of your business is dedicated to performance testing? How many full-time, part-time contract performance test members are there at your company? What are the typical roles and responsibilities of your performance team structure? Right? So they will ask these questions like this, guys. Client will ask the questions like this. In this case, University of British Columbia, they want to do performance testing for their university website. Clear, guys? And these are the questions that they were asking. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Right? Now service-based company respond with their information, with their corresponding with their organization's information like this. Let's say, for example, these are the roles and responsibilities of performance test team structure in the organization. There will be a performance architect, performance test manager, team lead, project lead, etc., etc. Senior performance tester, or a lead, and then performance tester. Clear, guys? So these are the roles and responsibilities of, or these are the different designations in this service-based company, guys. So RFI document consists a standard set of some 15 to 20 questions, and we will respond to the service-based companies will respond with their information, with the corresponding information. And what is the average team size for performance projects, and describe your onboarding process for performance projects. Clear this. So now different service-based companies respond to this RFI, guys, isn't it? So whenever they know that a client has a project requirement, right? Client will receive, interest from multiple service-based companies, not just one company, isn't it? Right? And now once the client receives this response for this RFI, right? They will go through the response, and they will filter out, like, they will sort out some 5 to 10 service-based, at least 5 service-based companies, or 4 or 5 they will shortlist 4 or 5 service-based companies. What does the client do? They shortlist some 4 or 5 service-based companies. So let us discuss some example over here. Let's say, for example, you want to buy an apartment. Let's say you want to buy an apartment in a metro city, let's say, right? Like Hyderabad or Bangalore. Now, what will you generally do, guys? Suppose you want to buy an apartment or a multi-story apartment in a metro city. So how would you approach, guys? Or what would be your approach? What are the next steps?
We will consult a broker or
Right. You'll consult a real estate mediator, right?
Yeah.
Any real estate company, or you'll
We
post
have
some
some
requirement, you can post your requirement on any of these websites, right? Like we have a lot of websites like magicbricks.com, Common Floor, 99 acres. Yes or no? Guys, speak out, guys. So
Yes, sir.
you will post you can also post your requirement. Of course, you can go through the, some real estate mediators or, real estate consultancies. Otherwise, you can post your requirement on these websites, isn't it? Whether you want to buy or whether you want to rent or something, or whether you want to sell, isn't it? Now, those who are having some inventory in the sense, those who are having some constructions, or builders or mediators or brokers, what they will do? They will contact you saying that, like, so whenever you are posting, right, you will post your requirement, right? You'll post a requirement saying that I am looking for a 3 BHK or 2 BHK. So this is my budget, this is my area, interested area, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, Pawan. Yeah.
Now you will get, quotes from different organizations, right? Different real estate companies or different builders, isn't it? Different builders may approach you. If they see the requirement, they will approach you, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, next thing what you will do, you will shortlist some of those which are fitting within your budget or which are, in your preferred locality, isn't it? Budget, locality, and, whether your requirements, whomsoever is matching your requirements, right? You will shortlist few of them, isn't it? And then you personally visit them. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
If
Yes,
possible,
Pawan,
you
yeah.
personally visit them and you will take some. What do you ask them when once you go there? If you like the property, so you will get some. You will ask them to give some quotation, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah.
You will ask them to provide some quotation, isn't it? So in the same way, clients also will shortlist some of the service-based companies, and they will ask the service-based companies to give it, something called RFP. Okay. They will ask you, okay, where RFP stands for request for proposal, or a solution document. Okay. Now, what is this RFP is, or what is this solution document is? Client will show their application and explain their requirement. Okay. Now the service-based companies, have to come up with a solution for their problem or solution for their requirement. Clear? Understood, guys? Along with the budget, along with the commercials. Let's say, for example, if you want to do performance testing for your application, it costs some $50K or something, $50,000 or $1 lakh, something like that, right? And it requires these many number of resources. It requires this much amount of time, right? All that information will be provided in this solution document. Just like, how you get a quotation from the builder, right? So he will tell you like, we are planning to complete this project in 2 years, or, this is the position date, and this will be the final cost, isn't it? They'll provide a quotation, right? So in the same way, service-based companies prepare a proposal document or solution document for the corresponding client or for the corresponding application, whatever client want to do performance testing. Is it clear so far, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Pawan.
Any
Clear.
queries? And now you will receive, like whenever you are looking for a house or an apartment, so you'll receive quotation from not just one builder, isn't it? You will look for, you will do inquiries with multiple builders, and you may take quotation from multiple builders as well. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, Pawan.
Right? And now you will select one of them, right? Which is suitable for your budget and your requirement and your area preference, isn't it? For your locality, whatever locality you prefer. In that locality, you will prefer, you will shortlist you will finalize one of them, and you will go with that, you will book a flat or an apartment, isn't it? So in the same way, here also client also will, evaluate all those solution documents, and whatever fits their requirements, whatever they feel that it suits their requirement and within their budget, right? It should also be in their budget, isn't it? Every organization will have certain budget for every project, for testing some budget, development some project, like that. Whatever quotation or whatever solution fits into their budget and fits into their requirement, they will finalize one of them and award that project to one of the service-based company. Just like how you buy a flat or an apartment, a flat or a house or something from a builder, from a single builder, right? Clear, guys? Now, once this is done, right? Now the service-based company, that whole team will be. So in this phase, basically, your, on the service-based company side, like team lead or project lead or sales team will be involved in this RFI and RFP. Sales team, typically, sales team will be involved in this along with performance testing lead or performance test manager or someone from the performance testing team, and RFP as well. Clear, guys? Now, once the project is awarded to the service-based company, the whole team will be involved from here. to collect the requirements, to collect the non-functional requirements. NFR stands for non-functional requirements. Okay. Now, what is meant by non-functional requirements? So we already discussed what is functional testing and what is non-functional testing in the previous demo set, isn't it? We already discussed what are functional requirements, what are the non-functional requirements. Performance testing is all about non-functional testing, isn't it? Now, entire team, once we get the project right, let's say you are working in a service-based company and you got some project, and now entire team will be involved in this requirement gathering phase. Ideally, the entire team will be involved in gathering the requirements, right? They will be involved in the meetings with the client to collect the detailed requirements. Clear, guys? And now once they collect all the requirements, so we'll discuss, what are the different requirements gathering we do. That is a next important interview question. Okay. Can you explain NFR process? Can you explain NFR process? NFR means non-functional requirement gathering process. Okay. NFR stands for non-functional requirement. Okay. Now for this NFR gathering, right? You will have some standard templates. Every organization will have certain standard templates, which I will share it to you guys. Okay. So performance testing, training, handouts. Yeah. So you will have multiple calls with the client, multiple meetings with the client, right? And you will have one meeting for this, for explaining this NFR document. So you will ask the client to get, you will ask this, you can simply send this questionnaire, requirement gathering questionnaire to the client and ask them to respond to this. These are the questions on the left side. And now the client should, provide their response on the right side over here. So please provide business overview of the application to be tested. So that means we are asking about the, what kind of business is the application into, whether it is a e-commerce application or a healthcare application or a university application, right? So they're asking what are we asking here, guys? We are asking we are asking the client to provide some business overview of the application to be tested. And do you have any existing performance concerns? Means if there are any performance issues, and what are the drivers for this performance testing requirement? Means what is the main purpose of of them coming for performance testing? And please mention and describe the integration points of this application. So this is, you can simply share this questionnaire and ask the client to fill the information whatever they have. Suppose let's say client asks like I don't know what is this. I don't know what is this, sir. I did not understand this question. Then you can have you can set up a meeting and explain them. So what is this all about? Understood, guys? Able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pawan.
Right? So if the client doesn't provide any information, you can set up a meeting, or your team lead or project lead will be generally doing that. And someone from your performance testing team will be acting as a SPOC. SPOC, where SPOC stands for? Most of you know this, guys.
Single point of contact.
Single point of contact, right? So someone from the performance testing team will be acting as a SPOC, single point of contact with the client. Your team lead or project lead will be ideally doing that. And they will be scheduling meetings with the client, and they will try to get a maximum information, maximum possible information that they can get from the client. Understood, guys? Now, once they collect this requirement, so maybe, they can also do a POC, means proof of concept. Okay. They can also do a POC, means to confirm the tool feasibility, let's say. To confirm the tool feasibility, means which performance testing tool is suitable for doing performance testing. I'm sorry, guys. Tool feasibility. Okay. Tool feasibility means We have different performance testing tools in the market, right? What are the different performance testing tools, guys?
LoadRunner, JMeter,
LoadRunner,
NeoLoad.
JMeter, NeoLoad, WebLoad, Sil Performer. There are a lot of tools in the market. IBM RPT, Gatling, Locust, Grinder. All these are different, popular performance testing tools. And again, so if you observe here, I have highlighted these three tools in bold because these are the major tools in the market. Those are having major market share. Means most of the projects or most of the clients or most of the projects are using these tools. First comes LoadRunner, right? Still first comes LoadRunner, guys. So LoadRunner still has the 40 to 50% of the market share. JMeter also has 40 to 50% of the market share, right? And LoadRunner is a licensed tool and the JMeter is a popular open source tool. Clear, guys? And again, NeoLoad is another licensed tool. NeoLoad is another licensed tool. And K6 is another tool. So K6, I think it has both community edition as well as enterprise edition. So some tools have free version, community edition or free version, as well as enterprise version as well. And then you have RadView, WebLoad, Microfocus, Sil Performer, etc., etc. There are a lot of tools. Now we have to decide, you have to finalize which tool would be better for their application, isn't it? So that is done as part of this POC, proof of concept, where tool feasibility will be checked up. Which tool is suitable? Can we use JMeter or can we use LoadRunner? Right? Again, it depends on, in the requirement gathering phase or in the previous, discussions itself, in this RFP phase itself, they might have discussed like, which tool is feasible. Understood, guys? In the RFP phase itself, your team lead or project lead would have discussed like these are the suitable tools for doing performance testing for your application. Clear, guys? Now what we do is we develop one script and like we see how much time it is taking, whether we can record the script or whether we can generate the script or not for that application. So all this exercise will be done in this POC, proof of concept phase. And next comes, once we do the POC, right, then we prepare a test plan document and get a sign off from the client. We'll prepare a test plan document and we need to get sign off from the client. Clear, is? Sign off means nothing but formal approval from the client. We need to, we need to share it over email and get a formal approval. Now, what is a test plan document? Let's understand what is a test plan document. So I'll cover this in a separate session. So test plan document contains multiple topics, right? And these are the contents or these are the components of a test plan document, starting with project overview, application architecture, signed off NFRs. And I will also share this sample test plan document with you. I'll also share this sample test plan document to you. Clear, guys? Now we'll also discuss that later. Now, once we collect the requirements or once we do the POC, what we do, guys, we'll prepare a test plan document and share it to the client for approval, formal approval. Okay. And then once we get an approval from the client, then we start with this scripting. Okay. I'll move this effort estimates also along with the POC. Okay. Then only, once we do effort estimates, then only we can get, timelines. We can prepare the timelines in the test plan document. Clear, guys? So we prepare a test plan document and we need to get a sign off from the client. Once we get an approval or sign off from the client, then all the team members or junior resources mostly will be involved in scripting, right? Two freshers or 2 to 3 years or 3 to 4 years or 5 to 7 years, right? These guys, that means software engineers and senior software engineers will be generally involved in the scripting process, right? And now, what is meant by scripting? What is meant by the scripting? We discussed that in one of the previous sessions that first we will, we'll collect what are the critical business flows for the application, right? We'll ask, we'll have multiple meetings with the client and we'll ask what are the critical business flows, right? For any net banking application, those are the critical business flows, right? User registration, login and check balance, adding a beneficiary, fund transfer. These are all critical business flows, right? Now we create one script for each of the business flow. We will create one script for each of the business flow. and that will be done in this scripting phase after test plan document approval is done from the client, given by the client. Clear, guys? So we'll create scripts for each of these business flow. Now, once we generate the right and enhance the scripts, we need to get the scripts reviewed by someone, some senior team member, or your team lead or project lead should ideally review your scripts. Clear, guys? They should ideally review the scripts, and they have to do sanity testing for each performance test script. They need to do sanity testing, means they need to execute the script and see whether the script is working as expected or not. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is about, sanity testing means nothing but, verifying whether the script is working or not as per the requirement. Okay. And hey, I see someone joined with display name as APM. Who is this?
Sir, Arun from here.
Who is this?
Arun.
Arun. Full name, please.
Arun Mohanty.
Arun Mohanty. Okay. Right. Now, please join with proper display name, Arun. Okay. Right. So once the sanity testing is done with by all for all the scripts, then we will set up the test environment. We will set up the test environment means we will install the required tools, and we will we will install the required tools, monitor tools in the sense performance testing tools on the in the test environment. So what is this test environment is? We already discussed that in the previous sessions. We do performance testing in a dedicated environment called test or engineering environment, isn't it? We do this testing, and in some companies you may be asked to do testing in SIT environment. Okay, SIT environment itself. So we already discussed that there would be different environments in any project, right? And each environment is meant for a specific purpose, isn't it? So unit testing will be done by developers in the development environment. Integration testing will be done in SIT environment, right? Integration testing will be done in SIT environment, and then functional testing will be done in QA environment. Did we discuss this, guys? In your batch, I think we did not discuss. Or did we discuss this, guys?
No, Pawan.
Huh?
We didn't.
Okay. So then in that case, let me explain these different types of environment based. So unit testing, what is unit testing? Unit testing is something done by developers themselves. Unit testing will be done by the developers themselves. And unit testing is done during the development of any application by the developers. And what is the meaning of a unit, guys? What is the general meaning of a unit?
Small part.
Part of something, right? Can we say like a single thing or separate part of something larger? Unit means a single thing or a separate part of something larger. Now, let's say some team of developers are developing this Gmail application. Let's say, for example, a team of developers are developing this Gmail application, or else a team of developers are developing this, GeoMart application. Let's say for Reliance Reliance Group, right? So GeoMart came into this e-commerce business recently, right? So let's say a team of developers are developing this GeoMart application, right? So one developer cannot develop the complete application, isn't it? There will be a separate team for front end. There will be a separate team for back end, database, right? There will be different teams. There will be a separate team for DevOps. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Now, when developers are writing the code, right, once they complete one class or one small piece of code, once they complete write a function or a method or a procedure, right, they do something called unit testing. They first test that small piece of code. Simply remember like this, they will test their piece of code, right? And that is called as unit testing. That is called as unit testing, and it is done during the development of the application by the developers, right? And once all these are able to follow, guys, let's say for example,
Yes.
a team of developers are working on this GeoMart application. So there will be separate team for UI development, this user interface development, and separate team for API development, And there will be a separate team for database, writing the database queries and all those, designing the database, writing the database queries and all those, right? Now, eventually they have to combine all those pieces of code, right? After some time, they need to combine all those pieces of code to make the application. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Pavan.
Now, once they combine all these pieces of code, they do something called integration testing. So what is integration testing? It is defined as a type of testing where software modules are integrated logically. Different software modules are integrated logically and tested as a group, right? That is called as integration testing. Clear, guys? Integration means nothing but what is the general meaning of integration, guys?
Migrating. Okay.
Migrating? No. Integration
You
means
need to
combining. See,
act
what is
of-
integration? It is the act of bringing together smaller components, right? Or information stored in a different subsystems into single functioning unit. So integration is nothing but combining different things, right? Combining different things or act of bringing together smaller components. Now, once these pieces of code are integrated together, we do something called this integration testing. And this is done in an environment called SIT environment, where SIT stands for System Integration Testing. SIT stands for System Integration Testing. And then functional testing will be done in QA environment. So here, environment is nothing but a single computer or a group of computers on which your application is running. That is called as environment. That's it, right? So functional testing will be done in an environment called a QA environment, where QA stands for quality assurance or quality analysis. Quality assurance or quality analysis. And we, nowadays, some people are, some organizations are calling it as QE, quality engineering. Okay. Quality engineering. Okay. We'll discuss that later. Okay. Functional testing is done in an environment called QA environment. And now what is functional testing? We already discussed that. It is a black box testing where the system is tested against the functional requirements or specifications. I already covered this. Please go through the previous recording sessions if someone missed this. Clear, guys? What is functional testing? But you should have a clear-cut idea on what is this functional testing, what is non-functional testing, what all falls under functional testing. We already discussed this in the previous demo sessions. Okay. So those who joined late, or those who are joining from this week, so please go through the recorded session. So which are available as a public videos on my YouTube channel. Okay. This is my YouTube channel, guys. Performance testing live training, Pavan MGM IT. So there, like I will create one playlist URL for every batch, one separate playlist URL for every batch. So let's, for example, this is the September 2023 batch playlist URL, which is having 7 videos till now. Clear, guys? So which is having 7 videos till now. And here in the second session, I explained what is functional testing, what is non-functional testing, what is the difference, and what all falls under non-functional testing. If you see here, performance testing, security testing, usability testing, compatibility testing, all these fall under non-functional testing umbrella. In the same way, unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, these all fall under functional testing. Clear, guys? So you need to have a clear idea about like what is functional testing versus non-functional testing. I'll take a pause here, guys. Any queries? Right? So these are the different types of testing that we are discussing. We are discussing different types of testing, right? So once the functional testing is done in QA environment, and one more thing. So we'll discuss, this is another important interview question, guys. Why, what is black box testing and why is it so called? What is white box testing? What is it so called? Right? Why is it so called? We'll discuss that, right? And most of you know that already. Those who, those who are having some knowledge on manual testing, you should be very well aware of this concept, isn't it? Now, once the functional testing is done, then performance testing. So performance testing is done in an environment called test environment or engineering environment. Test environment or engineering environment. And what is performance testing? Performance testing is a non-functional testing to determine an application's speed, responsiveness, and stability of a computer network, blah, blah, blah. Right? So we discussed that in the next slide very clearly. So this is a simple definition. performance testing is non-functional testing to determine an application's speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. Right? This is the simplest definition of performance testing and meaningful definition. It is a non-functional testing to determine an application speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. Right? Now, as part of this performance testing life cycle, right, we will be setting up that performance test environment if it is not there, if it is not already there. If it is already there, yes, you can directly use it, right? But if there is no performance test environment for that project, so we need to set up the performance test environment. Means we need to install the tools and we need to set up the environment. Clear, guys? And then once that is done, we do something called smoke test or sanity test or a dry run or a trial run or a shakeout test. Right? All these are one and the same, guys. What is this? Either you say smoke test or sanity test or a dry run or a trial run or a shakeout test, all are one and the same. And the purpose of this is to identify and fix any script issues and environment issues. To identify any script issues, environment issues, test data issues, right? Test data issues, etc., etc. So that is the purpose of doing this sanity testing or dry run or a trial run. And now once that is successful, we will do our regular testing like load test, soak test, stress test. And we also discussed what are these different types of performance testing in one of the previous sessions. I already explained what are the different types of performance testing. Starting with load test, we covered till capacity planning test. All these are covered, guys, in which session? They were covered in, here it is, on Tuesday, last Tuesday. Okay. Clear, guys? Now, once we do the the required types of testing, then we prepare a report. We prepare a high-level report and then detailed report. First, we prepare a high-level report on the same day of test execution. And then after 1 day or 2 days, you can submit a detailed report with your analysis and recommendations, with your observations and recommendations, right? So in that detailed report, so what does a detailed report contain? It contains the test results analysis, observations, and recommendations, right? It contains test results analysis, observations, and recommendations. We need to prepare a detailed report and share it to the client. And once client goes through that document, they will fix any. Suppose if you provided some, you identified some performance issues, and you asked them to fix those issues. Now developers will be fixing those issues. And again, once those issues are fixed, right? So we need to validate the tuning, validate the application tuning. What is meant by application tuning, guys? What is meant by application tuning?
We should adjust or upgrade the application accordingly.
Right. So tuning the application or making software or software configuration settings or something, right? So that is called as application tuning. To get optimum performance from the application, to get maximum performance from the application, we may do some tuning. Development team will be doing some tuning. Just like suppose if you are not getting, if you are having an Activa, right? If you are having an Activa like scooter, and then let's assume that you are not getting good mileage from that, right? Then you will take it to the mechanic and you will say like, I am observing very low mileage. I'm not getting very good mileage. So can you fix that issue, right? When you are doing RLs, when you are doing servicing, you will ask them, isn't it?
Yes, Pawan.
So
Yes, sir.
they will tune the engine, they will tune the vehicle engine, and they will try to get optimum performance, right? Isn't it? So
Yeah.
once they say that, yes, you and they deliver the vehicle, once they say it's completed and deliver the vehicle, again, you will test the mileage, right? You will not, simply trust the mechanic, isn't it? You
Yeah.
will again test it one more time, once or twice or thrice. Yes or no?
Yes, Pawan, correct.
So in the same way here also, once the developer fixes those issues, so we need to validate that. We need to validate that whether we are getting better performance or not than before. Okay. And if all the performance issues are eliminated or not. So here also in the same way, we validate the application tuning and do and make sure that all the bottlenecks, performance bottlenecks are eliminated. And then finally we'll prepare a final report and sign off for project closure, right? So we need to get a sign off from the client again to close the project. Clear, guys? If all the tasks are done successfully, right? So this is all about performance testing life cycle, and these are the different phases in performance testing life cycle. Now, any queries, guys?
Pawan, RFI and RFP are only for service-based companies, right? Not
Yes.
for product, yeah.
Yes, not for product-based companies.
Okay.
Generally, that concept will be there for service-based companies only. RFA, RFP, SOW, all this.
Pawan,
Yes.
is smoke and sanity test same?
Hmm.
Smoke test and sanity test.
What is that? What is that? Smoke test and sanity testing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your query? Sorry, I missed it.
I mean, is there any difference between them?
No, all these are one and the same. In some organizations, we know people call it as smoke testing, or some teams they call it as sanity testing, or a dry run, or a trial run. All these are one and the same.
Okay.
Is that your query?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other queries, guys, before we close the session for today?
Sir, what are the NFR for the product-based company?
It depends. It depends on the application. So it there will be different requirements, non-functional requirements. It depends on the application. So, for example, I gave some performance criteria, right? In one of the previous sessions, I explained some performance criteria, right? So, based on that, like your requirements are the process varies. See, these are the performance criteria. Some applications should support 1 lakh users, or response time of each transaction should be below 3 seconds, or application should be able to process 10,000 transactions per second. So these are some examples of the performance criteria. Or requirement gathering, we'll discuss that separately in next week. Most probably next week or next session, maybe tomorrow's session, we'll discuss this. What are the requirement gathering that we collect in, and I will explain each of the performance requirement. There are around 25 to 30 performance requirements. So I will explain each of them.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other queries, guys?
Hello.
Yes.
This is starting day one session, Pawan.
Yes. Not day one, but
Okay.
I have been giving these demo sessions from 1 week. Okay. This is the first concept on this performance system. This is the first session on pure performance testing concept.
Okay.
So till now, see, let me show you what all concepts I covered till now. So in the first, this is a demo session about trainer introduction and all those. Trainer intro and course contents, etc., etc. Course contents, and I have explained some success stories of my students. In the demo session. Got it? And then what are the software required for performance testing? And then performance testing at a high level, and reasons for doing PT, and thick client versus thin client, right? So these are computer basics again, right? Thick client versus thin client applications, type of performance. Yeah, one previous session was done on different types of performance testing, and all these are available as a recorded public videos on my YouTube channel. Okay, I'll share the playlist URL so that you'll have all the videos related to this batch in a sequential order, proper sequence. Did I answer your question?
Okay. This is another doubt for me.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
And this is a free. Yeah, this is free training and placement.
What is that? Is it?
Is a free training course and placement.
No, it's a paid training. This is a paid training. Okay. already government, government is giving free education, reimbursement, fees reimbursement and all. So we cannot do that, because this is a lengthy training. This is a placement oriented or job oriented training. So it will be like 60 to 80 hours training altogether. Okay, it's not at all free.
Okay.
Right? If you see any of my previous batches, it takes around 60 to 80 hours of training, as well as lot of assignments, daily scripting assignments, assessments, right? And resume preparation. It is a big process. So we can't give for free. And why will anyone give for free? Tell me like one thing, why will anyone give for free? Right? So will students or, the participants will be ready to work for free once they get the job? Right? And free training will not be, definitely not effective as any paid training. Okay. So this is not a free training, it is a paid training.
Okay.
Pawan,
Yeah.
is it possible to have the session in the evening?
Yes, we are starting one evening batch as well from next week. So
Okay.
the timings will be 7 to 8 or 7:30 to 8:30. Timings not yet finalized. And we are running to run two batches, one for in the morning and evening, one for LoadRunner, the other one for JMeter.
Okay.
Okay. But evening batch will be most probably started with LoadRunner. Morning batch will be JMeter.
Yeah, sure.
Because someone, right? So these are the morning batch time slots available. It will be, mostly JMeter in the morning batch. So, and these are the possible timings, 8 to 9 or 9 to 10 or 8:30 to 9:30. So we'll go with the majority people convenient time from next week onwards. Once the tool is started, once JMeter is started, right? So by that time, we'll have the final list of participants. And then we will, take the majority people convenient time, and then we will follow that timings. And these are the evening time slots, so either 7 to 8 p.m. or 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. 7 to 8 or 7:30 to 8 p.m. 7:30 to 8:30 IST. Okay. So morning batch, I will be most probably starting JMeter and BlazeMeter, and evening batch, we will take it up for LoadRunner. Any other queries, guys?
No, sir.
And for your information, so you need to confirm your joining as soon as possible. And someone is asking like, is it a free training? For your information, I left a job which is where I am getting around 3 lakh salary per month. Okay. If you I cannot disclose I cannot show my pay slip in the online platform like this. If you meet me personally, I can show you that. Okay. So it will be really surprising when someone asks such questions like free training, expect free training.
Pawan,
Yeah.
the course content which you shared is about JMeter. Can you share the LoadRunner course content as well?
Yeah, sure. I'll share it. Wait, I'll share it right away in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Please see that in my previous batch tracker. Right. I have shown you some previous batch trackers. So it will be altogether 60 to 80 hours of training. This is my April 2023 morning batch. Right. And no free training will provide this much, in-depth or intensive training, covering each and every concepts and enable you, give you like experience equal to 3 to 4 years experience. Isn't it? Anything else, guys, before we close the session for today?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, then. So I'm closing the meeting then. Hold on. Recording purpose for, thanks for joining the session and have a nice day. And if someone want to enroll for live training, so here is my WhatsApp number, guys. Okay, please save my WhatsApp number, guys. By the way, one more request. So please save my WhatsApp number. Otherwise, you will not get notifications. I cannot send, one-on-one notifications daily. So if you save my WhatsApp number, then you will get, notifications or updates on the new batches and free demo sessions. Okay.